Deshaun Watson is an elite quarterback and a clear upgrade from Baker Mayfield, even when Mayfield is at his best. There has been some questions about forget about the allegations, just the actual draft capital given up and the money that the Browns are paying Deshaun Watson. Is that enough? Personally, I think from a football perspective, this is absolutely the correct move. I think that it just makes perfect sense. Now, again, the ethical side of things, I don't really want to touch on it anymore. I've talked about it previously in my initial video I made about Watson. I touched on that. You can check that out if you want to. Now I'm just going to switch to football and talk about how this affects the Cleveland Browns, because I think it's interesting. Right off the bat, one major thing I think about when I see Deshaun Watson going to the Browns is we're going to just see less stuff like this. This is something that drove me crazy about Mayfield, especially last year, where everyone was blaming his shoulder, but there were definitive plays that were not because of the shoulder that were issues, like this one, for example. This Green Bay game is actually a great example of kind of the flaws that he had as a quarterback. It's going to be a cover 3 zone, and you see the way this concept is supposed to work, it's really the safety is going to be the one that allows Mayfield to make his read. You have a receiver running a deeper route, and then someone crossing over the middle, and if the safety stays deep, you throw over the middle. If the safety comes in and covers the route over the middle, then you throw the ball deep. Look at how, right when this play begins, Mayfield runs the play action, and right here, I mean, Darnell Savage, the safety for Green Bay, his back is completely turned. He is clearly running deep. This is as easy of a read as it gets in football. And listen, NFL quarterbacks are so good at noticing this stuff. It's worth mentioning, like, this stuff is still hard to do, even when it's obvious. Like, I get to pause it and read it right away. They have to make the read in real time, split-second decisions. I get it, but still, this is the read you have to make when you're playing at the NFL level. The margin of error is slim there. Instead, Mayfield's going to throw this one deep, and that's going to get intercepted right there, whereas he had a wide-open receiver over the middle had he done the proper read. And this isn't one of those plays where he followed his progressions properly, but it just so happened that his third read got wide open immediately into the play, and he just didn't notice it. Those are more understandable. This was legitimately him just not doing what the play was designed to do, and Deshaun Watson isn't going to make those mistakes. We also have a play like this where what's going to happen here is that right when this play begins, you see that Mayfield looks down the field and there's an open receiver, so Mayfield can make this throw if he wants to. And again, I want to be very clear about this. I don't think Mayfield's a bad quarterback. I like Mayfield as a quarterback. He's a solid quarterback, but he has some issues. He's an imperfect quarterback. Look at how he throws this ball kind of off his back foot and ends up getting intercepted. Again, this is the kind of thing that Deshaun Watson just isn't going to do, or is very rarely going to do. I mean, he'll miss a throw occasionally as well. Who won't? But the reality is, he's just going to be able to run the offense at a significantly higher level than Baker Mayfield is going to. Another thing that I think on the football field, one of the first things I thought of when Deshaun Watson is going to the Browns is bootlegs. Stuff like this, where you're getting Deshaun Watson moving. The Browns love to do this with Mayfield, who's a solid athlete, but he's not Deshaun Watson. And so Watson in a Stefanski offense, that should be a blast to watch, quite frankly. Like what you see on this play is it is a bootleg to the top of the screen, so to Watson's right. And as you see, Watson takes a snap, he runs the play action. He is going to get outside the pocket right here, and that's a good job of getting around the edge rusher, who is Clowney. So getting around him, because again, we have to use 2020 tape. There is no 2021 tape with Watson, and he has an open receiver. This isn't the most difficult play of all time or anything like that, but look at how he throws it very well while off balance and got around the edge rusher nicely. So he'll be able to run this offense very well for Cleveland, and I do think that they paid a little bit of attention to fit as well. Now, if it wasn't a great fit, would they have tried to make it work? Probably. They probably would have. But it certainly helps that it's a pretty good fit and not that different than what Bill O'Brien did with Deshaun Watson back when they played. And again, Bill O'Brien's issues were never entirely offensive coaching. I mean, to some degree they were, but obviously he had much bigger issues in Houston. And also moving on, there's just stuff like this, where what's going to happen here is that this is another, I think I paused it right now before I play it, because it's an interesting example of just kind of showing what Watson can bring to the table other than that. It's not just about running the offense better, which Watson should be able to do, but also some stuff like this, where right when this play begins, nobody is open. I mean, look at all 5 eligible receivers. What can Watson do here? Like nothing. So for Mayfield, like what does he do? Well, the reality is he probably either makes a mistake or just turns the play into some sort of loss. Or, let's be honest, we've seen Mayfield make a throw to a not open receiver and get it intercepted before. That does happen. Not saying it happens every time, but it does happen. However, as you see, Watson's going to get outside the pocket. He's going to find an open receiver, make the perfect throw, and get a touchdown out of that. So, again, on the football field, I think there's no denying Watson is a clear upgrade. Watson's a fantastic talent and a fantastic player. And so there's just so many things on the football field like about his game. I think there's no real denying that. Going over and looking at the numbers now. So this is going to be this is 2020 numbers. So I'm being fair to Mayfield. I'm using his best season, and I'm using the 2020 numbers, and I'm also going to use basically my favorite stats, and this is where they ranked in each of these stats. So not their actual stats themselves, but just where they ranked in the NFL. First would be best, and then I think like 40th is worst. There's usually around 40 for each category that are, eligible, because you have to have a certain amount of snaps to qualify. So the first stat I use, Pro Football Focus grade, just a simple one. Deshaun Watson was 3rd in 2020. Mayfield was 8th in 2020. So Mayfield wasn't bad, but Watson was really good. Big time throw percentage. Watson was 3rd. Mayfield was 10th. Turnover worthy play percentage. Watson was 2nd best, and Mayfield was 11th best. And then passer rating, kind of more of a team stat, but still an interesting stat to look at. And it's probably the best just traditional box score stat. Watson was 2nd in the NFL, and Mayfield was 17th. Going over here, these are some, I wanted to put these stats in kind of a different category just because they take a bit of explanation if you're not aware of them, if you don't regularly use them. So again, it's Watson and Mayfield. And the first one is adjusted completion percentage. So that's basically the graders at PFF. They look at it and say, okay, did Watson's throw create what should have been a completion? So even if it was dropped, they would still count it as a completion if he did do that. So it's kind of just a better completion percentage. There's still some flaws of it. What offense you run is going to still heavily impact where you rank there. But still, Watson ranked 10th. Baker Mayfield ranked 18th. The next one is that's kept clean PFF grade. So when you were kept clean, not under pressure, what was your PFF grade? This is actually a much better way of looking at this than under pressure. I think when you take away all the pressures, it can kind of give you a sense of who is the better quarterback more traditionally. And a lot of times when you see a quarterback randomly have a great year and then fall back down to earth, it's usually their kept clean PFF grade wasn't actually that much better. It was their under pressure PFF grade. So that's interesting. And you can use passer rating too if you want. PFF grade is just a bit more consistent. Watson finished 3rd there. Mayfield finished still a good grade, 8th there. And then the final stat is over 2.5 seconds into a play, PFF grade. So when the throw happens after 2.5 seconds, what's your PFF grade? Kind of a weird thing that you might say, wait, isn't that similar to under pressure? But not really. This stat actually tends to be one of the best predictors as to who is good and who is going to consistently be good year in and year out. And Deshaun Watson finished 2nd in that stat, whereas Mayfield finished 12th. So it's a little bit unfair to Mayfield for, putting him up against Deshaun Watson. Watson's obviously a tremendous talent, so it's not necessarily a slight on Mayfield. Mayfield was legitimately good in 2020. Like, the numbers back that up, but Watson was legitimately awesome in 2020, and he is, a tremendous talent, and if you can get him, again, on the football field, it's a great football decision to get him. So yeah, I just kind of want to make a video talking about the football side of things. Everyone's talking about the other stuff, which that should be talked about as well, no denying that. But I want to make a video talking about the football side of things. This is the football channel, so it's okay to talk about that too as well, I think, because if he's gonna play, I'm gonna talk about him. That's the way I view it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on all of this? Because I know there's a lot to talk about. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.